How's it going, folks? I'm out walking in South Yorkshire. Last week I did an explore of something called Roche Abbey, which was built in 1147. Amazing remains and stuff, just looks incredible. And when I was editing the video to put it out on my walking channel, you look at old maps, obviously, try and see what it looked like, you know, obviously not going back to the 1100s, but you can get maps that go kind of 1830. And on this map, I saw there was a mill, and then I saw that there were these lime kilns that were basically just off in the distance in the woods. And in the 1830 map, it said disused, like even then. I was like, okay. So I looked into it, tried to find any evidence of them, photos of them, see if anyone had explored and found them before. Nothing. And then I found some evidence that Cistercian monks, which are the people, you know, at Roche Abbey, had basically built the abbey from, you know, the quarries and stuff here, and they used the lime kilns to create kind of, well, fertilizer for one, but also to create sort of mortar and stuff to build it. Anyway, there's a point to this. Then it transpired that actually they had so much of it that they flogged a load and they used it to build Sheffield Castle, or at least a chunk of Sheffield Castle, so that's 1270. And then the medieval expansion of Windsor Castle came from here. Anyway, I came out, started searching on a hunch. I thought, well, it's on a map from 1830, I'll see if I can find it. Mate, look at this. So that's why I'm buzzing. I know you might be thinking that's dead geeky, but oh mate, I love stuff like that. Because I've never seen anyone do it before, so I don't even know if anyone else knows it's there, do you know what I mean? So I'm buzzing. Anyway, I see this COVID inquiry is doing what the COVID inquiry is doing. I've not really paid that much attention to it, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Reason being, why would I get involved with the government investigating itself, which is what they've been doing? It's basically like watching someone mark their own homework. It's sort of pointless, really, because you know what's... Oh, you got a straight A, did you? Oh, that was lucky. Oh, mate, a deer's just gone past me. Oh, mate, they're too fast to get that on film, you just have to believe me, but that's incredible. I've had, like a hare jumped out on me earlier, and pheasants and stuff, and I'm dead... Oh, mate, there it goes, can you see it? Whoa! Look at them, did you get it? I can't actually see the viewfinder. That's amazing. See, that's what it's all about, folks. That's why I just love coming out. Lime kilns are cool, but so are deers. So yeah, so I wasn't really that... Nearly fell over. Wasn't that sort of bothered about the COVID inquiry, in the sense of, like I say, you know, you're going to watch them mark their own homework and go, oh, you all got straight A's, that's amazing. And then I thought about it, and I thought, okay, because obviously these new revelations have come out today. I say revelations. Today and yesterday and the day before, I think, where they're basically saying, yeah, the government messed up, but they didn't mess up because they locked everyone down and destroyed everyone's livelihoods and drove people to alcoholism and all that stuff. No, not bothered about that, that's fine. And obviously the big jab rollout that's killed countless people and injured loads of others, and sacking people for not going along with it. You know, the fascism bit is fine, not bothered about that. No, what they should have done is they should have locked down faster and they should have locked down harder. Which, if you remember, is exactly what Keir Starmer, the now Prime Minister, wanted to do at the time when he was in opposition. So it made me think, okay, government's got options. When I say government, I mean the permanent government, and they're all the same anyway, because they all answer to the same people, and it's not you and me. Anyway, so I thought, so if something comes out, for instance, say a child abuse thing, so take the child abuse inquiry in Britain. Now, you can whitewash it, which they tried to do. Nothing to see here, nothing happened, it's all in your imagination. Try to do that. Then what you can do is, if it gets to a point where the people aren't having that, and they're like, nah, I'm not accepting a whitewash, mate, you know, we want to know what's going on, we want heads to roll. Then what you do is you give them the low-lying fruit. You give them Rolf Harris and Gary Glitter, do you know what I mean? You don't give them prime ministers and presidents and stuff, you give them the low-lying fruit. So there's that option. So that's what you can do. Two options there. Pretend it didn't happen. Hopefully you get away with it. If you don't get away with it, give the mob some low-lying fruit. There's two options. There's a third option. And that's what I think is at play here with this COVID inquiry. And that is that you can turn a negative into a positive. So with Matt Hancock, for instance, that whole midazolam thing was getting really, really big. And so what could they do? They could try and whitewash it, but it was growing. And so they knew that they needed to get rid of Matt Hancock, but they couldn't get rid of Matt Hancock because of his use of midazolam and the sacrificing of the elderly, because that would open a serious can of worms. So they couldn't do that. So what they did is someone went in and moved the camera in his office to catch him having it off with that woman, and then he was, you know, gone. But he wasn't gone for the midazolam, he was gone for having it off with an intern or his assistant or whatever the hell it was. So you've essentially satisfied the baying mob, but not for the reasons that they're going after him, and not for the reasons that you want to keep hidden. So I guess that's similar to giving them Gary Glitter and Rolf Harris, isn't it? It satisfies the mob. The reason why it's relevant is because it's a way of giving the people what they want, which is, we've looked into it and we've found out bad stuff's been going on, but not the real deep nitty-gritty. So they turn it. So with this COVID inquiry, what could they say? Well, they couldn't come out and say, yeah, okay, we messed up, we shouldn't lock down, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't have done that. Because what that does is that takes lockdowns off the table going forward. Because when they want to lock down for a climate lockdown or another pandemic or whatever they come up with, invasion by Russia, terrorism, you name it, they'll think of something. If they want to lock down for that in the future, then, while a lot of people have got goldfish brains, a lot of others don't. And we'll go, hang on a minute, can I point you back to the COVID inquiry, please? Didn't you find that lockdowns were a bad idea and they did really, really seriously damaging things? So no, we shouldn't do that. So what they do is they satisfy the mob in a way by saying we've had an inquiry. I ain't satisfied by it, like I say, because they're marking their own homework. But many people will be, unfortunately. Yeah, they did an inquiry. Yeah, they did an inquiry. But you flip it. So not only do you not take lockdowns off the table going forward in the future, but you seriously put them on the table, and you don't just put them on the table, but you put them on the table for faster and harder. Do you get my point? So actually what they've done in terms of this inquiry, rather than just going, oh, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll just whitewash it and try and hide it, this is bad, or we'll give them some low-lying fruit, or we'll get rid of the guy, say Hancock for instance, we'll get rid of him, but we'll give a different reason why we're getting rid of him, whatever, either way. With this, they've gone, we've got an opportunity here. Yes, mate. Not only are we not going to apologise for lockdowns and admit all the horrendous damages that they did to people, not to mention the deletion of freedoms that comes with that, but actually what we're going to do is we're going to say that yes, mistakes were made, but because we didn't do it harder and faster. And that then puts it prime in position for going forward when we want to implement one, when we launch another pandemic or another cyber attack or another act of mass terrorism or war or whatever that we want to lock the people down, and climate or whatever, then we can just go, we did an inquiry, remember? Do you not remember when we locked down during the COVID period, and some of you people said that lockdowns were bad, and we listened to what you said, and we had an inquiry. Do you remember? We had an inquiry, and that inquiry found that actually you were wrong, and that not only were lockdowns not bad, but actually we should have done them more draconian. We should have done them quicker and harsher. Yeah. Remember? Do you not remember the inquiry? Remember the inquiry? We did an inquiry. And then when they do that, then they can just go, right, bang, off the back of the COVID inquiry, mistakes were made and lessons were learned. And it just so happens that the lessons that were learned told us that we should do more of what we really want to do anyway. It's crazy, isn't it, how those inquiries tend to kind of just pop up with those results. It's amazing, isn't it? So you can see why I've not been bothered about the COVID inquiry. Like I said earlier, like marking your own homework, that's like I've not been invested in it, because I want true justice, and that's why I won't shut up about COVID. And I know people get a bit bored, oh, he's on about it again. So yeah, because one, justice has never been done. Nothing. No one's ever had any justice. No one's ever been held accountable for what they did. Ever. And the fallout of it, we're still seeing every single day. And people that are injured and bereaved are dealing with the fallout of it for the rest of their flaming lives. So, no, I won't shut up about it, mate. And also, another reason to not shut up about it is to make sure it never happens again. To make sure that, you know, without boring people to tears, it's always in people's minds of, no, I went along with it before, I was frightened before, and so I let the government, you know, do my thinking for me. I outsourced it to experts who were all on the pharmaceutical gravy train. I ain't going to do that again. So that's why it's important to talk about it and to keep, you know, keep it in the mind, so that you can see that when they try and pull stuff, you're like, no, I've seen this before. Because as soon as you forget, you open yourself up to being hoodwinked again. And, you know, for me, whether people want to forgive what happened is another thing. Like, only you can answer that, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you want to forgive or not, that's on you. So that's a personal choice, personal decision. Some will, some hold grudges, and that's fine as well. You've got every right to. Doesn't necessarily work too great for you yourself to hold grudges, because I think it kind of eats away at you a bit. But do you know what I mean? It's none of my business. But what I will say is, if you do forgive, great, that's great. But for goodness sake, don't forget. Never forget what they did to us. And don't accept this nonsense of an inquiry, which like I say, isn't an inquiry. Because what they're trying to do, quite clearly now, is they're trying to use it to their own advantage. They're trying to use it to open the door to harsher, more severe, probably more regular lockdowns in future. And I don't know about you folks, but I ain't going along with that. I didn't go along with it then, and I ain't going along with it in the future. And as I've said multiple times, if it means I say no whilst getting folded into a duffel bag and chucked over a waterfall, then so frickin' be it. I'm back at the Abbey now. Now let me show you, look. If I turn you around, look at that, mate. Who doesn't love a waterfall? And there's the remains of the Abbey through there. Incredible. Anyway, I'm going to stomp across here if I don't fall in the river and head home. Hope you have a lovely weekend, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again.